I never imagined my phone would light up with her name after 15 years of silence. Yet there was one short message that shifted everything. "Daniel, we need to talk." My heartbeat hammered against my ribs. 15 years earlier, I had left Vanessa sitting at our kitchen table, divorce papers spread between us, the air thick with anger and unfinished words. I believed she was a closed chapter in my life. But suddenly, out of nowhere, she reached across that distance for a single conversation. Before I tell you how her simple, "we need to talk," twisted into the most dangerous snare of my life, let me remind you, sometimes the people who once shattered us return, not for closure, but for something far darker. I agreed to meet her at the Lantern Room, a little cafe strung with Edison bulbs and scattered with mismatched chairs, the very place where we once lingered over cappuccinos and shared impossible dreams. I arrived at 6:45, 15 minutes ahead of schedule, nerves scraping inside me. The door's bell gave a soft chime as I stepped inside. The barista glanced up, offered a polite smile, and returned to steaming milk. No one asked if I wanted a seat. To them, I was just another anonymous face. I spotted her in the farthest corner, beneath a cracked mirror. Vanessa hunched over a half-drained latte, shoulders sagging. Time had carved its marks on her. Gray streaks threaded her once dark hair. Shadows circled her eyes, her cheeks hollowed. Still, she wore that old leather jacket I had given her years ago, a relic of a happier era. When I approached, she lifted her head. Surprise flickered, then relief, before her gaze hardened. "Daniel," she murmured, voice low. "Thank you for coming." I sat down without returning the greeting, hands resting open on the table. "You said you needed help." Her eyelids pressed shut, and she released a weary breath. I'm in trouble." She spun a story, one I recognized all too well. A fiancé who had disappeared. A dying mother in a hospital she couldn't afford. A landlord threatening eviction unless she produced $20,000 by next week. She described overdraft fees, mounting bills, debts crushing her at every turn. She painted herself as a woman crushed by circumstance, desperate for rescue. I listened without giving anything away. Around us, couples laughed. Servers rushed by with clattering plates. The espresso machine hissed. At table 12, though, her drama unfolded unseen. When she finished, her eyes glistened with pleading. "You're the only person I can ask." My pulse quickened. Vanessa had always known how to pull at the heart. 15 years ago, I had given her everything. But back then I was naive. Now I had learned. I leaned forward, voice steady. "Show me proof." Her expression faltered. Panic, shame, hesitation. She dug through her purse and laid out a pile of crumpled envelopes. Foreclosure notices, medical bills, eviction warnings. They looked convincing at first, but the details betrayed her. Dates that didn't align. Fonts that didn't match. A sloppy forgery. I raised an eyebrow. "You don't know all these people," I said. She stammered. They send multiple copies." "Tell me about this fiancé." I pressed. She blinked. "Mark. He left, took everything." "Where is he now?" Her gaze darted. "And no one knows. He's gone." The story unraveled. Memories of our divorce cut through, her draining my accounts, selling assets behind my back. If she had truly been abandoned, there would be traces. A lawyer, a name, a paper trail. She had none. I stood, brushing my coat from the chair. "Vanessa, I'm not that man anymore." "Daniel." I pulled a crisp photograph from my pocket. Her signature on the deed transferring our townhouse to her second husband 6 years earlier. The date clear, the ink undeniable. "You sold our home and vanished with the profit." I said, "You're not destitute. You're running another con." Her lips trembled. I needed a new beginning." "You needed money," I corrected. Tears gathered in her eyes. Whether they were genuine or rehearsed, I couldn't tell. She opened her mouth but said nothing. I slid a business card across the table. "That's the number of a charity I support. They'll help with housing and necessities. But I'm finished rescuing you." Without waiting for a reply, I left. The cafe bell jingled behind me as I stepped into the night. The autumn air was sharp, the chill settling into my coat. I tightened it around me and crossed the street. I had just stared down the same woman I once loved, the one who had weaponized my compassion. But tonight, I refused to